He said, "Stay one day and we'll review it the next." Suddenly I was on a section 24 which lasted 72 hours. Then I was sectioned when that ended and put on a section 26 which lasts up to 28 days. They said it could be lifted at any time, which gave me hope. It's now roughly ran into about 13-14 days. The section hasn't been lifted and I sometimes feel that there's no hope, during which time I never had any fresh air for 9 days. Colin says that he was getting out on pass, but by looking at him, you would think he'd been smoking grass, lying on his bed, doing the natty dread, because of what the staff and doctors have said. 2 minutes past 9 o'clock, they've had their meeting, and what are they doing? Sitting on their behinds, drinking tea, reading their paper, no mixing with the patients, just as in life, no one give a damn, except mine. We came up on the west of that ward, and I seen a guy saying cheerio to a woman with her bairns. So I shouted over and we introduced to ourselves. He says his name was Brian, and it was great because he was just wearing a t-shirt. But when he says he hadn't been out for 4 months, I could understand. We talked on the way and he says he knew a few of the guys I kent. Then we shook hands, smiled, and I winked. Then we went our own ways and I moved on with the twa staff. It's a sky blue with sun-kissed clouds. Birdies flying past my window. Windows shut so I can't hear their sound. Washing line down on the green laden with clays. The wind blows and blows and blows.
Right, well that's about 40. I've gotten about 40 anyway. It's about coming up for about 300. 300? 300 I would say.
In the first year of the new century, over 700 people were admitted to the acute psychiatric wards at Royal Dundee Liff Hospital.
Yeah, it was a long time ago now, 1966. I was quite young, 17, and I was in Ward 1, Powrie House as it was then. I don't know what, really don't know what taken me there. But I was in the ward. And one day, I suppose I just did what I was told really, and I can't remember if I got anything special on or not, but I've no idea. As far as I'm concerned, what I remember was just getting into a vehicle, a van of some description, and going through the grounds up to the bigger buildings is all I understood then. At the time were these other buildings in the grounds of Liff. And inside there was other people going with me, and there was certainly one nurse. And we went in, and it was what looked like a big room to me, with chairs along one wall at least, and a table at the side, like a trestle table set up, and there was, I don't know if I was told to or whatever, but there was diluting orange juice available to drink, so I took some diluting orange and sat down. I was quite frightened and bewildered, and the nurse sat beside me on the chair, and I remember distinctly trying to hide behind her, trying to get behind her shoulder and hide behind her. There was music, certainly, and I became aware that I was at a dance. Whether I knew beforehand or not that I was going to a dance, I can't be certain of. I'm trying to think of what I remember for fact as opposed to what might be going on. But I was clearly at a dance. And at some point in the dance, I found myself, there was a man standing in front of me, and I was encouraged to get to my feet. I'm not sure. Let's see what I can just actually remember. The man was standing in front of me, and I stood in front of him, and he put his arms up onto my shoulders and with his hands up, almost like he would push me away, but he put his hands on my shoulders. That's when I realised that I wasn't the only one that was quite frightened and disconcerted in this place, and I recognised this other person's distress as well. And I put my arms up on the outside of his, and onto the tops of his arms. My head was down looking at the ground, and I think so was his. And we shuffled a few steps into the music and into the dance, and we danced.
What the hell's going on here? What's this you think you're doing?
I'm just setting the table for the boys. Well, I get the tea, so I'll just sort of set the table.
Jesus. Listen, pal, we didn't do things like that in this land. Didn't feed these folk like this. Will you guys steak to bloody pigs?
But
Get this shite off the table. Get it back to the bare wood. That's what they need.
Alright.
That's the way we do it here, pal.
I did do that in another ward though.
Well, I don't care what to do in your other ward, but you run the ward the way I want the ward run. It's been run like this for a lot of years, pal. Christ almighty, you'll be tucking them into bed bloody next. Get this shite off of here.
Incredible. Every Wednesday the fire alarm goes off, and the number of folk who you meet, you think that it's like somebody's escaped, as if they would put a siren on for patients who had escaped from the hospital.
I was 18-year-old when I spent some time in the hospital here. Ward 5, the famous Ward 5. for the first week that I was in the hospital, I was absolutely terrified because I didn't know why I was there. I didn't know anybody there. The staff frightened us. Just I didn't know anything about like psychological problems or that at the time. The first week that I didn't eat anything, they started to sort of like watch me because they knew that I wasn't talking or anything. I never even spoke to anybody. I was just scared to talk to anybody really. And at some point within the second week, I started to feel paranoid about like people trying to hurt us and that, and I thought that the staff were going to kill us or something. And the fact that they took my clothes away from us and I had to go around in pyjamas where everybody else in the whole ward was allowed to come and go. I was the only one in the ward that had my pyjamas on, and I wasn't allowed to go out, and I felt kind of like incarcerated. I didn't feel like it was helping me at all. I didn't understand why I was there. So I kind of built up this paranoid, these thoughts about people trying to hurt us, and that was why I wasn't eating the food, because I thought they were putting poison in the food and stuff. So eventually one day, everybody'd gone for the breakfast, and I looked at the window and I knew that the windows didn't open. They only opened at a couple of millimetres or whatever, an inch or two. And the cleaner was hoovering the ward, and I waited until she sort of finished, and I thought that she was actually the person that was going to come and do us harm. So I managed to pluck up the courage and I ran towards the window. It was actually older windows than these. I had a little thin piece of wood down the centre of them, and I just managed to smash it with my forearm, and I climbed out the window and I started to run off. I managed to get myself to here, but somehow the fear made us able to get over this hedge, and I ran through here. I'd lost my slippers by that time. I still had my pyjamas on, and there were staff coming after us. By the time I got to here, my arms were bleeding and I was shoeless, and I had to keep running because there was somebody chasing us. So I ran across here. I just kept running until I couldn't run anymore, and then I sat on the road and they came and got us.
Strange are these bits that I've driven past so many times and didn't pay any attention to them. They all suddenly took on great significance. The last time I'll ever see Mid-Craigie, and I had all the roundabouts counted, so I'd already been through 2. I knew there was another 2 to come, and that'd be it. I think by this time I'd realised that nobody was talking. There was 3 of us in the car, but nobody said a word. Everybody was aware of what was happening. But when I came round here, it was just reverse and Liff Road closed. Just sort of briefly thought, roads are closed, can't I get to Liff, can't I get there? It just didn't seem the sort of day to be admitted to a psychiatric hospital. It was so sunny and like in the middle of winter. Those really bright, dry days. It was quite frosty. Sort of day you'd go for a walk with your friends or go along the beach. I was heading to Liff. I got a friend that lives up there and he's worked in Liff for about 20 years. And that was significant. Everything just pointed towards Liff. I felt I'd disgraced everyone by having to go to hospital. It wasn't so much me that felt disgraced, but it felt like for other people. They'd all be embarrassed to know me. And quite rightly, I thought. Saw that sign. That was, well, there's no trying to excuse it now. It was here. Welcome to Royal Dundee Liff Hospital. Don't remember any of the trees. I couldn't have been paying attention, or was I suppose pretty disturbed. I think. And the car just stopped about here. Didn't stop, just got out.
My name's Matthew, and I'd like to show you a quick card trick. We start with a pack of cards, and we start by shuffling the cards up like this. Give them a good shuffle. Magicians always believe in shuffling cards. Split them into 4. Give the cards a wee shuffle. I always believe in shuffling. Take 3 up, put there. 1, 1, 1. Take the other pack, put 3 on the bottom, as you can see, just ordinary cards. 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. Take this pile here, put 3 on the bottom, as you can see. 1, 2, 3. We'll just take 3 from the top. 1, 2, 3. I would say they're well shuffled by now, which I'm sure you'll agree with at home. We'll turn over each top card and see what we come up with. 1 ace, 2 aces, 3 aces, 4 aces. And you're all at home probably thinking they're all aces. But just to show you that they're not. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's magic.
I've had enough. That's it.